The book of Revelation was written by the Apostle John and is one of the most fascinating and mysterious books in the Bible. It explains how the world as we know it will come to an end and what will happen afterward. The book is filled with powerful images, dramatic events, and messages about faith, judgment, and ultimate victory. Though it contains warnings and descriptions of difficult times, it is also a message of hope for those who trust in God. The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. One of the most famous parts of Revelation is the story of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. These are four figures, each riding a horse of a different color, who represent major forces that will bring hardship to the world. The white horseman symbolizes conquest and the hunger for power. This rider comes with a bow and wears a crown, representing leaders or empires that rise and create conflict as they try to dominate others. It's a reminder of how human ambition can lead to wars and destruction. The red horseman represents war and bloodshed. This rider carries a large sword and is said to take peace away from the earth. Wherever he goes, violence and chaos follow, plunging nations and people into conflict. The black horseman stands for famine and scarcity. He carries scales, symbolizing the weighing of food and resources during times of extreme shortage. This horseman reminds us of the suffering caused when basic needs, like food and water, become scarce, leading to hunger and desperation. The pale horseman represents death itself. This rider brings widespread loss of life, whether through war, disease, or natural disasters. His pale green horse reflects sickness and decay, and wherever he rides, life is cut short on a massive scale. These horsemen remind us of the fragility of human life and the consequences of humanity's choices. They show how difficult times will come, but they are also part of God's larger plan to bring justice and renewal to the world. The Great Tribulation. Another key part of Revelation is the Great Tribulation, a time of great suffering and testing for humanity. This period will be unlike anything the world has ever experienced. Disasters, persecution, and challenges will affect everyone, making it a time of great difficulty. Jesus himself spoke about this time in the Gospel of Matthew. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. Matthew 24 verses 21 to 22. During the Great Tribulation, people's faith will be tested. Many will face persecution for their beliefs, and others will struggle to hold on to hope. However, Revelation offers encouragement for those who remain faithful. It promises that God will protect and redeem those who trust in Him even during the darkest times. For example, Revelation 7 verse 14 describes the faithful who come through the tribulation. These are they who have come out of the Great Tribulation, they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. This verse reminds believers that no matter how hard things get, salvation is available for those who hold on to their faith in God. The seven bowls of God's wrath. Revelation also describes a series of events called the seven bowls of God's wrath. These represent God's final judgments on the earth, each more intense than the last. 7 angels pour out these bowls, and with each one, a disaster or plague strikes the world. Painful sores appear on those who follow evil and worship the beast. The seas turn to blood, killing all marine life. The rivers and springs turn to blood, leaving no clean water. The sun's heat becomes scorching, causing immense suffering. Darkness covers the earth, symbolizing the collapse of evil's power. The Euphrates River dries up, preparing for the final battle. Thunder, lightning, earthquakes, and hailstones bring massive destruction, signaling the end of this age. These events are terrifying, but they serve as a warning for humanity to repent and turn back to God. They also show the seriousness of God's judgment against sin and rebellion. The final battle, Armageddon. The Battle of Armageddon is the ultimate clash between good and evil, described in Revelation as the final confrontation. This battle takes place at a location called Armageddon, which means Mountain of Megiddo. In this battle, Jesus Christ, riding a white horse, leads the forces of good. He is described as faithful and true, and his power is so great that he defeats the forces of evil with the words from his mouth. The enemies, including the beast and the false prophet, gather their armies to fight against Christ. But their defeat is swift and total. The beast and the false prophet are thrown into the lake of fire, and all those who follow evil are destroyed. This victory marks the end of evil's reign and the beginning of God's eternal kingdom. It is a powerful reminder that no matter how strong evil seems, good will always triumph in the end. The fall of Babylon. Babylon is described in Revelation as a city that represents corruption, greed, and rebellion against God. It symbolizes a world that has turned away from God and become consumed by materialism and sin. Revelation 18 describes Babylon's destruction, showing how quickly its power and riches are taken away. The kings and merchants of the world mourn her fall, not because they care about her, but because they can no longer profit from her wealth. Babylon's fall is a warning to humanity. It shows that no matter how strong or successful something seems, if it is built on greed and sin, it will not last. It challenges us to focus on what is eternal and to trust in God instead of worldly power. The woman, the dragon, and the beasts. In Revelation 12-13, John sees a dramatic vision involving a woman, a dragon, and two beasts. The woman represents God's people, Israel, and later the church. She gives birth to a child, Jesus, who is destined to rule all nations. The dragon is Satan, who tries to destroy the child and persecute the woman. Despite his efforts, the woman is protected by God. The first beast arises from the sea and symbolizes a powerful empire or ruler that opposes God. The second beast, also known as the false prophet, promotes the first beast and deceives people into worshipping it. These chapters highlight the spiritual battle between good and evil and the forces that will oppose God's people in the last days. The mark of the beast. One of the most well-known parts of Revelation is the mark of the beast, which is associated with the number 666. This mark represents allegiance to the beast and rejection of God. Those who receive the mark are able to buy and sell, but they also face eternal judgment. The mark serves as a stark warning to remain faithful to God, even in the face of persecution and economic pressure. A message of hope. While Revelation contains many warnings about judgment and difficult times, its ultimate message is one of hope. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, God is in control, and his plans are for the ultimate good of those who trust in him. In the end, Revelation promises a new heaven and a new earth, where there will be no more suffering, pain, or death. Those who remain faithful will live in eternal peace with God. This powerful message encourages us to stay strong in our faith, make choices that honor God, and trust in his plan for the future.